I mean, even my wife will say, other people say it about me. They'll say like, "Oh man, you're highly intelligent." And it's like, but you don't really come across that way. Like they'll just look at me like I'm just just the way I conversate sometimes. Things. My daughter's like that a lot too, but she's like very highly intelligent, highly intelligent. It's just the awkwardness of the social aspect, like translating that into the social world. Like some people are more, it's different. Like intelligences, I think, are different things. There's social intelligence, there's intellectual intelligence, there's, like your mind has an intelligence of its own without the education. Like it has, education just adds to that. Like your intelligence feeds off of that. Whatever you grab, there's things you can like unravel with it. So that's like you pick apart in your mind. So that's a form of intelligence. But then there's a social part, like where you're trying to communicate with others, and that's a form of intelligence. Some people have a higher level there, and just because they have higher levels there doesn't necessarily mean they're also intellectually superior in their intelligence. Because there's also emotional intelligence, there's physical intelligence. That's why I'm impressed with like going back to the stuff I'm watching with like this group called Got Seven. Watching these guys, they're tapping all these different levels of intelligence, like not just the intellectual, but the musical and then the physical aspect. That's a form of intelligence, controlling your body, controlling your voice, different things like that. That's another thing this other guy I've been exposed to, Adam Lambert, and the way his voice penetrates. Like they said, he's kind of mastered that element of pushing his voice the way he does. And that's another form of intelligence. I mean, there's lots of intelligence, I guess, we need to be aware of these days than the usual way we just measure, which is IQ or something like that. Um, but at any rate, maybe this dream is something that's warning me about, if my daughter's okay at the school. Like maybe some form of her innocence is being lost, of her understanding of what the school means and what it's all about. And there's this cultish movement happening somehow. It's not necessarily like a real cult, but it's something that's just doesn't seem. It seems like something that they're all convincing her she needs to do in order to join, like a cultish type thing. It's like, hey, we're all doing this, so you need to do it too, type thing. And maybe she's facing that kind of peer pressure, and maybe the message is getting out is like the way it's coming out is through these strange waves of reaching me. It's like I'm thinking of old school radio, like we're thinking of old school telekinesis or old school, you know something reaching out with the mind and the emotions. It is 11:46 right now, and I just woke up from this strange dream. It's June 1st, Tuesday. Year is 2021, and I haven't talked to my daughter. In fact, we don't talk much at all. Um, we've conversated very little since the last time I saw her. Like one of the greatest memories of my time with her was when she came to visit. I was staying with my brother in San Francisco, and that was well over a year ago. I want to say 2 years ago, before the pandemic, when she came and spent like, I want to say it felt like a month or two with us, with me, my brother, and my mom. We were getting close too, and she ended up coming back to my wife in North Carolina. Now she's up in New York. So it's interesting that I started keeping this dream vlog because that was so vivid to me, that dream. I'll have to find out if everything's okay with her. And then the other part of that dream was associated between me and my father. And that was a strange, along with my dog, Chewy. Those of you who know Chewy, I was with Chewy, and my dad, who's dead actually, was right by me. And we were talking, and I guess we were looking to So, hey, it's time to go. We got to get back over somewhere. And I forget what the conversations that we were having, but Chewy, the dog, my dog, I guess, usually we have him on a leash and something. But as my dad started to cross, he ran up towards my dad. And my dad's like about to cross the street, but Chewy's a little bit ahead of him. And I was worried. I was behind my dad and seeing Chewy in the middle of the street. And my worst fear was like, oh no, Chewy. And this car, sure enough, showing up. And it's like they could see him and weren't slowing down. And I was like, what are you guys doing? Like they were kind of slowing down, but they kept going. Like, and I heard someone yell, like, get out of the way, dog. And then the car actually kind of hit him, but it hit him from the back to where he bounced up, where it didn't really like smash him or anything, but just kind of pushed him and edged, like, it didn't, it didn't kill him. It didn't cause any injury from what I could tell because it kind of moved. Now, at first I thought it was, and I was like, oh my goodness. And, Chewie's still kind of moving around going, okay, these idiots. And like, you could see some kind of people in there. They were like, kind of going, get out of the way, stupid dog. And it was like some lady, I don't know who it was. But my dad's like, I could tell he's looking at him like he's about to give them a big old. I was like, oh. I'm like, I hope nothing goes down because my dad could go to jail, even if he's this upset about the way they behaved. And I'm surprised they didn't just take off because it was almost like if you made a mistake like that, you would think like, oh, we better take off. There's also my dad's a pretty burly dude. Like, you think I'm burly? I mean, he's even more menacing. So he's walking towards them, and they're actually slowing down. They actually stop, and my dad's over there, and they actually open the door, and I see my dad. I'm like, I thought he was about to lay in and destroy these folks, but it seemed like they were just conversating. They were just talking, which was good. And I was like, oh, my dad, my dad was a talker too. He did like, even though he was always the first one to try and talk things first, but he could scrap if it needed to happen because he grew up scrapping a lot. I didn't. I wasn't a big scrapper like him, but I heard all the island stories, and then I've seen him in a couple scraps myself that tend to happen at our like family weddings and things or family gatherings. There tends to be a couple scraps going on, and I see my dad in one, and I was like, ooh, yeah, he can scrap. So he was a scrapper growing up. I wasn't. Um, some of us are lovers. Some of us are fighters. They're like, well, what did people watching me going, well, you joined the Marine Corps? You're a fighter, bro. Uh, I guess so. There is a warrior in me somewhere. It's just that that's probably a person you don't want to wake up, right? If he's deep down in there somewhere because it's in my bloodline, right? That's a whole nother story. But that was in my dream too, and then I started edging towards the surface of waking up. So just wanted to post that on my dream vlog today because that was, man, this dream vlog. This idea. This is like kind of what I talked about before. It was from doing a Got7 flight log thing, which is the K-pop group I was watching, and they did these things about dreaming and waking dreams and lucid dreaming and like inception type dreaming. And I had mentioned that I was doing this dream log before where I was trying to track my dreams because it helped me to remember my dreams. It's helping me to tap into my subconscious part of me, which could be where a lot of us can do our writing and things like that. So this dream I had, the visions I had in that dream were pretty amazing. I wish I could, instead of just the words I formulated, I could just pass that vision on to whoever's watching this. But then maybe it's part of the creative process is to create these visions or to at least start talking about them. But I thought I'd share that. That's it for now. See you guys on the next dream.